Hey everybody, Chuck Barone. It's Monday, June the 26th, 2023. Let's get ready for another zany week on Wall Street. Man, I gotta tell you guys, I've been around money and finance pretty much my whole life, and I'm an old fart now. I gotta say, I've never seen times as wacky and crazy as these. It seems like nothing makes much sense these days. Market's going crazy, no certainty. I think even the people that make the decisions are uncertain, which leads to more uncertainty. It's wild times. And before I get rolling, let me welcome everybody to the show. Appreciate you guys being here, and thank you for your support. We appreciate what you guys do for us every day. You guys watching these videos, keeping this show going every day. We appreciate you guys. All right, so let's look at these markets today. We talked to finish the week last week. I told you guys that the week was probably going to start quiet. Not a lot of data coming early in the week, and today really nothing much to report. So the market's kind of trading sideways basically. Down small today. The Dow down just 12 points. 33,714 on the Dow. The S&P down 19. They're at 43.28 on the S&P. The Nasdaq down 156 points. 13,335 on the Nasdaq. So really not much happening in the stock market today. Nasdaq down a little bit heavier with some downgrades, Tesla and a couple other companies. So that drove the Nasdaq down a little further than some of these other indexes, but not a real big nothing day really in the markets today. The bond market, same thing. Yields down very small. The 10-year drops 2 basis points. 10-year sitting at 3.72%. The 2-year down 1 basis point at 4.74%. So now they got the inversion getting a little wider, 102 basis points now, pointing to a recession coming. But it's been pointing to that for a year and a half, so it's late. The dollar today down very small, 10 basis points, 102.76 from the dollar index, still strong. The metals market today up small in the face of this pretty strong dollar. Good news for metals. Gold up $2.70, $1,922.90 for an ounce of gold. Silver up 34 cents at $22.77 for an ounce of gold. Now these prices coming off some nice highs. We had gold at $2,000. We had silver at $25 an ounce, coming off those highs, but still in pretty good shape if you ask me. Oil today up very small, up 45 cents a barrel, $69.61 for a barrel of West Texas Intermediate. It's exactly like we've been telling you guys. It seems to be most comfortable trading between 70 and 75 a barrel. We're just under that $70 number. It breaks out from time to time a little above the 75, comes right back. A little below the 70, comes right back. It seems like that's where it wants to be, and still sticking to that. So we'll keep you guys posted as we observe that daily. Bitcoin today, cooling off a little bit, down just small, down $262, 30,249 for Bitcoin. Still a great price for Bitcoin over 30,000. This rally is real. It looks like it has some serious support. And Bitcoin doing very well in the face of not a lot of good news for cryptos. We have the SEC involved, big regulation coming, fraud charges, billions of dollars vanishing, hacking, and all kind of terrible stuff for cryptos. But Bitcoin looks like the champ right now. All right, so as we do every Monday, let's talk about what we can expect this week. As I said, the week is going to start very slow. So today we have really no data reported. Tomorrow we'll get durable goods orders, which will help with manufacturing. Are we selling ranges, and are we selling, more expensive appliances, refrigerators? That's expected to be down. And we'll also get new home sales. And that's the wild card here, because with no inventory of existing houses for sale, new home sales have been getting pushed as the buyers are moving in that direction, and builders have been offering some pretty awesome incentives to buyers to come buy a new house rather than an existing one. So we'll see how new home sales looks. We'll talk about real estate a little bit tomorrow. On Wednesday, we'll get the mortgage bankers index, more real estate news. Both refi and purchase business on existing homes expected to be down. On Thursday, we'll get our GDP numbers. GDP for the first quarter of 23 expected to be up 1.6%. So we'll see. They've missed a couple of times on this lately, so we'll see where that comes in on Thursday. We'll also get jobless claims expected to come in at 265,000 this week versus 264 last week. And again, that one's been a wild one up and down. We'll see where that comes in. And on Thursday also, we'll get the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, their PCE index, the personal consumption expenditure, or consumer expenditure, whatever it is, index. So that'll give us, by the end of the day Thursday, when these reports come in, we'll have a pretty good idea if things are going the Fed's way or not. We'll see if the job market's cooling off. We'll see the true inflation numbers, the ones the Fed follows. They like their index better than the regular consumer price index, usually because it's more favorable to their cause, I think. But we'll get all of that stuff on Thursday, and then Friday to wrap the week up. We'll get personal spending and income for consumers. Both are expected to be up. And we're going to get the Chicago PMI report, Purchasing Managers Index. That's a helpful idea of where manufacturing is going. That's expected to also be up. And also on Friday, to finish things up, we'll get the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, which is expected to basically be flat. So a lot of data coming, most of it, the big stuff coming Thursday and Friday. So I would tell you guys now, expect things to be quiet the next couple of days. Of course, geopolitical events, we saw what happened in Russia this past weekend, they can change things pretty dramatically, right? So without anything dramatic happening on the world stage, expect markets to be quiet tomorrow and Wednesday. All right, so news you guys need today, just a couple of things, quick things. The Supreme Court gets a case. It's going to be an interesting one. They're going to now decide whether this wealth tax is constitutional. What's happened is part of the tax cut thing they passed in 2017 allowed them to offset some of the costs of that cut with a one-time tax on unrealized gains on overseas investments. Well, now the Democrats, always wanting to raise more revenue, decided that shows that it is constitutional. They're trying to make that a permanent thing. So now basically unrealized gains on foreign investments would become taxable. I think that this is a really, really, really bad idea. And I certainly hope the Supreme Court shoots this down. How can you be taxed if you haven't really made the gain yet? A paper gain. Okay, let's just say your house, right? Your house goes up in value $100,000 in equity. Are you really $100,000 richer? Well, yes, on paper you are. But to get to that money, you got to borrow it or sell your house. So it's not actually an accurate picture. And I think that once this idea of being able to tax unrealized gains becomes a reality, well, that opens Pandora's box really, really bad to tax unrealized gains on people's real estate. Imagine, you have an unrealized gain on the house you've been living in like I have. I've lived in my house 23 years. It's gone up in value quite a bit from the year 2000 to today. Imagine if the government was just going to tax me on that, even though I get no benefit from that gain whatsoever except on paper. Long-term stuff, people who own businesses and have seen the value of those businesses increase, this is just a bad idea. And hopefully a more conservative Supreme Court going to see through this scheme and shoot this down. Also today I was reading what was interesting. We have some division at the Federal Reserve here. Looks like bank regulations are coming in the wake of some of these bank failures, Silicon Valley Signature, and a couple of others. But it looks like some Fed officials, hi Michelle Bowman, are now opposing new bank regs and requirements. Bowman really taking a big shot at Biden's appointee, Michael Barr, who's I guess the guy in charge of writing these new bank regulations. she's screaming bloody murder about it. And I'm guessing she's not going to be the only Fed official talking about how bad regulation is. Guys, I guess in the world we're living in today, literally everything is politics, right? And lastly today, just a quick blurb on China. It looks like investors are starting to pull out of China a little bit, hedging bets now because of Chinese political policies and some of the stuff they do with their authoritarian government. Not to mention the big power struggle here in the U.S. and some of the things we've been doing economically to prevent China from getting access to some of our higher tech stuff or to prevent intellectual property theft. So now we see that companies splitting. They're going to leave some production in China for Chinese consumption, and they're moving other production to other facilities, other places around the world for U.S., European consumption, splitting into, it looks like we're splitting into, I hate to use the word bipolar here, but looks like we're splitting into a bipolar world with the U.S. and its allies on one side, China its allies on the other. I hope we can figure this out, guys. We do not need to be fighting a giant war with China, whether it's economically or an actual war, bullets and bombs. So I hope they can figure this stuff out where we can compete. I know some of their practices are pretty horrible, but it would be nice to have a real legit competition rather than resorting to military. And just to wrap things up today, on a little bit of a lighter note, have you guys seen this story about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg going to end up in a cage match? Oh man, would that be the shit? I would pay money to see that, I swear to God. To see two rich schmucks smacking each other around. I guess it started, Zuckerberg's a big jiu-jitsu guy. He's been training in mixed martial arts and even publicizing his jiu-jitsu tournaments. Him and Elon, of course, having their big rivalry going. I guess Musk said something about a cage match. Zuckerberg responding in fine MMA fashion, send me the place, tell me where. I gotta say, man, this would probably be, just for curiosity's sake, one of the biggest pay-per-view things ever for fights. These celebrity fights now just getting taken to the extreme, like everything else in this country moves to its logical extreme. But I tell you what, Zuckerberg versus Musk, yeah, let's put these guys in an MMA card. I'd pay extra money to see it. But what do you guys think? Musk versus Zuckerberg. Musk's a much bigger guy than Zuckerberg is. Zuckerberg more trained than Musk is. Who do you guys think would win? Who's going to win that fight? Oh man, I can't wait. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for the day. It's a short video today, not a lot happening. We'll be back tomorrow to bring you guys up to date. As always, we appreciate your support. If you guys could, please hit the like button. It changes the algorithms. It helps our video get put in front of more people. We get more views that way. We appreciate your guys' support. We'll be back tomorrow to bring you guys the news you need. Until then, guys.